What is it that the transformative leader does to survive, to remain sustainable, to remain profitable, and to engender success within the business? There's obviously something these guys are doing that we need to figure out. First thing is executing a dynamic operational strategy. Now, let me put this in context. Imagine you are a ship captain ready to set sail from Mombasa, going to Cape Town in South Africa. You have a map and you have a very clear target. So you're very happy with that. As soon as you get out of the harbor, you go about 100 miles into the sea and the sea takes over. At which point, there's a device you pull out. It's called a compass, which can give you your true north, and you keep adjusting the ship's direction. As the waves push you one way, So eventually, your journey is going to look a little bit different from what you had planned. In business, organizations draw up strategic plans or maps to their goals. However, when all of this turbulence, VUCA, Vindu Vichenjanga, tax, the map itself becomes dynamic. After about 2 years of running your strategic plan, if you look at it, it seems out of context. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that the environment has changed. So what the leader needs is to make sure they have suitable objectives and a true direction of where they want to go to ensure that the business takes the next logical steps to the goal. The journey will look something like starting at A, COVID takes you north or west or south, and then you have a nature catastrophe, global warming, and then there's new technology that comes in and it forces you to go south, competition is against you, and you go up, and you eventually get to B. You have been operating a dynamic strategy that keeps you locked on your goals. It's a day-to-day operation that you put into place. The strategic plan is probably out of date the day it's written. Second thing we need to do is facilitating transcendent change, which means that we facilitate superior performance. Now, how do you do that? First thing you need to do is to recognize that there are other experts in the room. Use the expertise. Just because you're a good conductor doesn't mean you have to play the alto and the bass and so on. Second thing you need to do is to recognize the softer voices to come up and be heard and form part of the music. Many times the discussion about change is taking place informally outside, and people start making statements like, I wish the boss knew this, I didn't know what. Nobody is advocating for those voices. Third thing we need to do is take some time out and take sacrificial action with the staff members and coach them and then bring them back. So it's going to take some energy out of you to help the choir to realize that this is a co-mission and moral responsibility for each of us to work together. I may be the boss, but to create that level of harmony to deliver superior or transcendent performance, we need to work together. Number 3, maintaining a state of creative tension. Allow the creative tension between internal readiness to change and external dynamism to generate creative ideas, innovation, and sheer adaptation to maintain business growth. You know what happens when there is that tension? It is labeled a problem. But the internal dynamics of the organization are very different from the external dynamics. So when customers are complaining, they're outside the organization, and the problems of systems are within the organization. So if we allow that tug of war to continue, we need to examine it. In many cases, customer service does not speak to organization design. Issues are merely labeled as problems. If you think about it, it means that you have sales delivering a substandard product they're covering up. That information coming from customer service should go into design, process improvement, creating innovative new products and services. In fact, what actually happens is your customer complaints become so loud that your competitor actually takes them and creates a product that meets those needs, and suddenly you'll find all your customers taking off. What you considered as a problem because of the challenge of trying to serve your customers is actually a new product. Think about that. Number 4, empowering followers to sustain needed change. In order to sustain change as an apex leader, you can't do it all yourself. So you need to challenge your staff members to be leaders in their spheres of influence, to make those small changes that will help the organization move forward because you've entrusted them with. Empower the frontline staff, middle management, the service delivery guy to make those changes and take up leadership. Empower network teams among followers. Every Friday, you go for the departmental meeting and you assume that is a team. All the staff in those departments never get an opportunity to talk. They do not know how they interrelate. Departments operate as silos. Most people say, that's an accounts issue, take it to accounts. And suddenly, because one invoice is stuck up in accounts, the network is actually paralyzed. And then what happens is that we have to wait for next Friday's meeting for the issue to be brought up. You've lost a week, you've lost 2 competition, you've demoralized staff. Give them a chance to be the leader. In other words, the leader-follower exchange is a button exchange of roles and responsibilities, delegation, communication, and interaction. The customer serving member is serving the customer. In that position, they're leading. They have feedback which they can give to the department head who can feed it on to somebody else. So it's like a relay race. Number 5, installing a transforming culture. I've been doing a little bit of work on Ubuntu, and one of the things that I have found with the Ubuntu philosophy is that it was based in a producer economy where people generate produce and they share it within the community. So in the villages long ago, every community or every village was self-sufficient. And when you go to visit your relatives, you take them a banana and they bring you a fruit, or you exchange because you're all producers. Put that in the corporate context. When we are working in an organization, then we should all bring our ideas, our concepts, and put them on the table and share. Then we go to the market and we do trading, and you give me my idea, I share with yours. So that concept is absolutely critical. And it's important that we create a safe space for open, transformative discussion, exploration, ideation, and application of initiatives within the business. So what are the things you should be thinking about when you're installing a transforming culture? Think about inclusion, participation, energize people's ideas, let them discuss, break down the informal, formal barriers to the extent that we can get the information we need to run the organization effectively. Here's our last one, safeguarding the renewal and sustainability of your business. Let's audit the governance. Let's audit the business process. Is it rigid? I worked in an organization where the driver was not allowed to change the tire because it was the rules. Do you have such rules that actually inhibit institutional functionality? We need to balance between the business goals and sustainability of resources. You cut all the trees and you make $1 million shillings from the trees, and then suddenly your business goes out because there are no more trees. So start thinking about that balance. Adapt and effect incremental change, renewal on a daily basis rather than waiting for a crisis. Many businesses say we have a super system, everything is working well, our customers are just complaining a little bit, we are okay. Let's wait for the crisis, then we will change. You may be late for the crisis. Now, those are the 6 concepts that you need to be operating effectively in a changing environment.